Aiko was the quiet kind of girl, with an innocent and pretty face. One would feel the need to protect her, as she possessed a timid demeanor and a soft voice. And she was naturally very shy and introverted, never looking directly at anyone talking to her, and always responding with the most precise and brief answer. Her evasive behavior was largely due to the fact that her body harbored a secret. An accident at age 16 left a hideous, long, running scar on the right side of her torso. Many boys have tried to ask her out when she was in high school, but she never responded to any of their advances. Many would just give up, and even more concluded that she was just a stuck-up antisocial who was just picky. Her roommate, Mayumi, was the one who recommended Aiko to her new job in the design department. They were also high school mates and really good friends. Now, Mayumi was the opposite of Aiko. She was outgoing and friendly, and greeted everyone with a huge smile, and always ready with a funny pun. Many of the boys who couldn't get to Aiko in high school would eventually rebound off to Mayumi instead. Mayumi would put her arms around Aiko and joked, "I'm so lucky to have you. You reject them, I'll swoop in and comfort them." At work, Aiko mostly kept to herself, finishing her work on time without any complaints. And it wasn't long before her managers quickly grew to like her. On a coffee break one day, Aiko walked into the pantry where her seniors Chiyo and Hana was having a break as well. "Aiko, I'm surprised you haven't got a boyfriend. I'm sure any guy would be lucky to have you. You're so pretty and such a pleasant person," commended Hana. "Thank you," replied Aiko, dipping her face lower towards her chest. "Yes, unlike some people who rather just sit around and joke loudly all day, I'd say the nail that sticks out shall be hammered down. And an ugly nail at that," Chiyo sneered. "Oh, please, have some tact, Chiyo. The office is a small place. Aiko doesn't need to hear about that," Hana replied sarcastically. Excuse me," Aiko muttered as she turned around to walk towards her workstation. "Someone left you a present, Aiko!" exclaimed an excited Ayumi as she jumped out of nowhere, giving her a playful punch on the arm. "Ouch! And you scared me!" "Oh, you're always such a crybaby." "There's flowers on your table, princess," Mayumi teased. "I bet it's from that handsome guy down in accounting. Huh? Mayumi nudged Aiko towards her table, almost toppling her. "Oh, please. You know I won't do anything." "I know. That's why I'm excited. That means I get to have a shot. What do you say? Just like old times? You reject them, I'll swoop in and comfort them," joked Mayumi. "I'm gonna go now." That night, to celebrate Aiko's second month at the company, Mayumi offered to cook something nice. "Sweet and sour pork rice, your favorite," Mayumi announced as she proudly presented the plate to Aiko. "Wow, you remembered. I hated this dish," smiled Aiko. "I know. Now you'll have to finish it." And they both burst out into giggles. After a rather satisfying meal, the duo just sat on the couch and started to just channel surf. Mayumi mindlessly switched from channel to channel, never really settling on one. "I think I'm just gonna go to bed," yawned Aiko. "I must be more tired than I thought." "Wow, someone's getting old." "You're old." Oh. Aiko retorted and yawned again. "What are you up to tonight?" "A date?" Mayumi smiled sheepishly. "Good luck." "Don't need it." Both of them started to giggle once again, as Aiko stood up wobbly and turned towards her room. "Good night." "Night." Aiko felt a rush of cold air shoot up her body as she jerked from her sleep. Her vision slowly adjusted as her face contorted from the sudden jar of sensation. She couldn't remember going off to sleep. Huh? A silhouette of a figure stood at the foot of her bed. Who's there? No answer. Instead, the figure held up something that looked like a hand mirror to its face and sighed. It was a sigh of appreciation and enjoyment. Who are you? Whispered Aiko. Her voice cracked as fear crept into her accelerating heart. Still no answer. Aiko's head was still fuzzy and her vision was in a haze. It felt so real, but she's in a dream. Please leave me alone, begged Aiko. The figure ignored her pleas, but instead brandished something glinting in the darkness. A knife. It lunged at Aiko with a cackling howl. Aiko was petrified, unable to move her body or even let out an audible yelp. Then she saw its face, and the sight of its face terrified her even more. It was her own face. Aiko sat up screaming. Beads of sweat trickled down her cheeks and forehead. Hair matted to the sides of her ears and jaw. She looked around and realized it was morning, and it had only been a bad dream. Shaken by how real it felt, she checked the room for the figure, but found nothing. Not even Mayumi was home. She picked up her phone, looked at it and groaned. I'm late. She pushed the nightmare away from her mind, cobwebs still stuck in her head, as she rushed off to work. At lunch, Jiro, cute guy from accounting, walked up to Aiko's cubicle and looked at her with a slight smile. Can I help you? Asked Aiko. Oh, back to your old self? Jiro asked nonchalantly. Aiko, perplexed by his question, simply did not answer and turned her head back to her design. Lunch? Jiro asked after a moment's pause. I'll go with you, Mayumi interjected. Oh, okay. Are you coming? Jiro asked Aiko. No, thank you. Aiko mewed. Mayumi turned to Aiko before leaving, winked and waved goodbye. Aiko stared at her computer. Her reflection stared back. She recalled the dream last night, and a cold feeling seeped down her arm. Was that? Did my reflection just move on its own? I must be going crazy. Aiko laughed at herself. Gotta stop watching horror movies. That night, Aiko once again felt unusually sleepy after dinner. What is wrong with me, Mayumi? I'm so sleepy, Aiko said. Maybe we should just go out for once? Your body is not responding too well to your hermit lifestyle, joked Mayumi. What are you gonna do with your future, Aiko? You're gonna spend the rest of your life alone? Mayumi asked uncharacteristically, concerned all of a sudden. I'm going to sleep. You're gonna end up alone and no one's going to recognize who you are. Oh, shut up, Mayumi. That night, Aiko once again felt a cold sensation enveloping her, as if icy hands were creeping up all over her body and onto her face. Aiko forced open her heavy eyelids, and there it was. Black as night, her heart threatening to burst forth from her chest. What do you want? Aiko felt anger rising from her stomach. What do you want? Even more loudly than before as the figure just stood in the darkness, motionless. Aiko has had enough. She mustered up her strength and lobbed the bedside lamp at the figure, which deflected it effortlessly. Once again, the black figure brandished the knife from before and started towards her. And Aiko lost it. She screamed as the figure leapt forward. She swung her fist and kicked wildly as survival instincts took over. The two bodies trashed around the room, knocking over everything as they fell off the bed. In the tussle, Aiko ended up on top of the figure. Her hands closed around its neck, and then she saw it again. Its face. It was her face. She's losing her mind. "What do you want?" cried Aiko as she squeezed down on the figure's neck with every ounce of her strength. The figure's face contorted in pain and let out a sharp shriek. And then, darkness. Sirens resonated throughout the whole building. Paramedics and the police was at the house within the hour. Aiko stood at the living room sobbing. An officer was interviewing her, trying to calm her down at the same time. But Aiko was inconsolable. She tried to kill me. Who? She was my best friend. I can't believe it. Who is she? Asked the officer. Mayumi. She tried to kill me with a knife, and then she tried to strangle me, brandishing finger marks on her neck. We're going to have to take pictures of that if that's okay with you, said the officer while scribbling away at his little notebook. What did you do then? I grabbed something. I think it was my lamp or something. I hit her. I'm so sorry. I hit her, Mayumi. I'm so sorry. She sat on her knees and began crying again. The paramedics came out of the room with Mayumi on the stretcher. Her head was bandaged and her eyes were blank and stared at the ceiling. As they marched towards the door, Mayumi and Aiko's eyes met, and suddenly she sprung from her stretcher, letting out a distorted scream. Before she could reach anyone, the police officer tackled her to the floor. The paramedics tried to sedate her, but she was relentless. She tried to kick and claw free of the officer, and almost did for a moment, before the officer dragged her down to the floor once again, tearing her clothes in the process. The paramedics sunk a needle in her. She fell limp in just a few moments, her head swinging from side to side, still fighting. The ripped clothes revealed on her exposed side a long, running scar, spanning from her armpits to her torso. Aiko couldn't help but let a small, thin smile form on her face.